What does it take to become a successful automobile salesperson?
You need to be hungry.
You need to be hungry.
You need to put the time.
You can't be afraid of work.
Yeah.
Okay? What else? Jonathan, you've been doing this for how long?
7 years.
7 years. All right, you've seen lots of salespeople, good, bad, and indifferent, right?
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, what's it take to become a successful automobile salesperson?
Just ambitious and a pen.
Ambitious with a pen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty simplistic, but I can't argue with it. Cody, how long have you been doing this? A year. You know nothing yet. Okay? And by the way, never quit learning. Okay, this is my 41st year in the automobile business. I study the profession. Why do I study the profession?
Because every day something new.
Because the profession is changing so damn fast, I need to keep up with it. Edgar, what's it take to become a successful automobile salesperson?
A great listener.
A great listener. Okay. Let's talk about that for a second. We've all been taught since the time we could understand English or Spanish or whatever language we were brought up in, that it was important to listen. Did our parents tell us to listen?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes with a smack. Listen! Yet, Jonathan Santos, what percentage of the salespeople you've come across in your career are great listeners?
10%.
I think that's probably fair. Troy, how about you?
Say around 10-15%, if that.
Okay, Edgar, if we know we're supposed to listen, and not a person in this room doesn't understand that, if we know we're supposed to listen, how come so few salespeople are good listeners? I'm going to tell you a story.
It's a character thing.
No, that's what I would have thought too. It's not. It's a preparation thing. In 1981, I came home one day and my wife goes, how come we live in an apartment and we don't have a house? I said, because I don't make enough money to buy a house. Back then, the interest rates on homes was between 10 and 15%. She goes, well, maybe I should get a job. I said, that's a capital idea. She goes, all right, what should I do? She's a tall, blonde, good-looking, sweet woman. I said, you should be a cocktail waitress because that's a commission sales job right there. So sure enough, she goes down to a local restaurant and they hire her just like that because she looks like she should be a cocktail waitress. Well, this woman's sales skills are so underdeveloped, she can't sell drinks to drunks, okay? She's a disaster of a cocktail waitress. But they really like her, so they make her a hostess. Well, back then, minimum wage was about $1.75 an hour. So I said, well, you can't make enough money as a hostess. She goes, okay, I'll find another job. So a couple weeks later, I come home, and she's all fired up. She's found another job. And she's found a job in an industry that is maybe the single most difficult sales job you can get. She has been hired by an office products company. The way office products were sold back then, and it's probably very similar today, is you go out and you knock on doors. You try to get past the secretary, you try to find the decision maker in the company, and then you're trying to sell them office products. The office products she was trying to sell was a tape recorder this big that cost $7,000 and a transcribing machine that was $15,000. She went to work for the Dictaphone Corporation. So I said, well, that's great. I said, how are they going to pay you? And she went, that's the best thing about it. I can make as much money as I want to. Well, what's that tell you? It's a commission-only job. So I went, oh boy. They trained her for 2 weeks. First night she came home, she had 3 single-spaced typewritten pages that she had to memorize word for word, and if she didn't memorize it by the next morning, she was fired. Everybody in the class had to do the same thing. for 2 weeks, including weekends. She would stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning memorizing 3 pages of typewritten scripts that she had to recite the next morning. She made it through the training. She worked with some guy for a week, and then the company turned her loose on the streets of the city we lived in. She started the job in late June of that year. I was a finance manager the entire year at the same store. Guess who W-2'd it more than I did? She killed it. In a business that I wouldn't have given her a 1% chance of succeeding in, she killed it. So I went to her Christmas party and I met her boss. And I said, you know, what you did with Susan was absolutely magnificent. I said, I couldn't believe the development, her professional development. They said, well, we like Susan a lot, blah, blah, blah. So I said, the only thing I don't agree with, this is because I'm really stupid and probably had been drinking a little bit. I said, I don't believe in memorizing all those scripts. He went, what do you mean? I said, well, she had to memorize 3 pages every night for 13 straight nights. I said, I don't believe in selling with scripts. He said, Steve, we don't believe in selling using scripts either. I said, well, why did she memorize all that stuff? We wanted to make sure that she was prepared to listen when she sat down in front of a customer. The reason we had her memorize all those scripts is we did not want her thinking about what she was going to say next as the customer was talking. Because, Jonathan, if you're my customer and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say next, can I truly be listening to you? No. I got too much noise going on in my head. Most salespeople, Jonathan, true or false, most salespeople sell by the seat of their pants. They don't go in prepared. I'm going to ask you guys to memorize things. I don't want you, Cody, to be me. I want you to be a better version of you.